wide investigation into the submarines deals with Germany. There are not only serious corruption allegations, but also a very sensitive aspect of a side deal with Egypt. Did former Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu gave Germany a green light to sell submarines to Egypt without telling practically anybody in Israel? So with us from Cairo tonight is Dr. Marwa Mazaid. Thank you very much for joining us. The Middle East Institute in Washington, that's where you're from, I should say. And I want to ask you, when this investigation is launched, it might be very embarrassing for both countries. Is there any reason for this to develop any tensions between Israel and Egypt?
I would disagree that it would be embarrassing for Egypt. Maybe this is a domestic matter for Israel to discuss the details on how Netanyahu brokered some of the deals for Israel. Remember, this case includes his purchase of Israeli submarines from Germany for Israel's purposes, and there are allegations around that and corruption regarding his company or things like that. So that's a domestic issue. The only element of how Egypt got to obtain its own submarines from Germany is that it has been kind of a practice that Western countries, when they want to supply Egypt with its weaponry needs, they would consult perhaps with Israel, and Israel would either veto some of these purchases or signal some concerns. In this case, the Israeli government under Netanyahu did not signal that and green-lighted it, in the sense that Egypt's interests for these submarines were crucial regarding Turkey's stature in the region. Just as much as Israel has been identifying Iran as a major threat in the region, Egypt had recognized Turkey's presence in the Mediterranean, in the Horn of Africa, and Egypt definitely needed submarines to defend its maritime borders down in the Red Sea and up in the Mediterranean. So the fact that Israel understood these military needs that do not clash with Israel at all was a good sign. In fact, that was the way it should have happened. And I would expect that that continues under the current government, and there wouldn't be even any tensions between Israel and Egypt over that matter.
We'll wait and see. Dr. Marwa Mazaid, thank you very much.